good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, all of you, to the emotional week of Scorpio in the of the third eye. I said that I would explain a little bit about the channeling from 2 days ago. Yeah. So 2 days ago, in 11:11, the being that I was channeling was one of the beings from the part of the goddess Hathor. In Egypt, they call it Hathor, but it's not a goddess. It's the concept that connects many beings with that information. So there are many beings that are Hathor, and they are called like that because they represent the beauty of light. That's why Hathor, that's their name, Hathor. So they are related to the Egyptian mythology with Hathor, which is the mother, the energy of the cow that gives the milk to the whole humanity, that creates the sky. Well, would be all of that. So what they used to do, or they are related to, is they build the cube of creation, the cube of dimensions, 9 dimensions, by the singing, by the sounds. So they activate by singing. I was trying to remember what she said, and I can't remember anything. So I have no idea. I have no idea what she said. I am the worst channel in history. basically, I was channeling a Hathor, and I wasn't paying attention. I have no idea what she said. That someone remembers what she said. So basically, the concept, I don't remember exactly what she said, but the concept that I remember that she was showing is about the cube. The cube is a representation of the 9 dimensions. We have 1 dimension in the center, and then we have 8 around, creating a cube. Okay, which is basically all the dimensions of the reality. So 4 of them above represents the time, and 4 of them below represents the space. So the time one represents the sky, the stars that we have in the sky, and below we have the river, the river Nile. So one of the things that she was doing, like sharing the concept, was to connect heaven and earth, like 11:11, to put them both together as one in ourselves, creating the center in the cube. So that would mainly connecting us through all the dimensions, through time and space, with the shape of the cube. Now I remember something about the information that she said, and but it's too much to explain right now, so I will rather write it down and then share it with you, and that would be better. Obviously, I am the worst rememberer of the history because I cannot remember what I did yesterday. So, so it's terrible. So tomorrow, I will try to write down in the blog a summary of information that we have received these 2 days. But I would like to go now to the information that we have to talk about today, which is resentment. I was just saying that in Spanish we can also use resentment, which is resentimiento, but rencor in Spanish goes much more deeper in the terms that I wanted to explain. So first of all, I would like to say to you that for sure, everyone here, all of you, myself, and everyone who is going to listen after this, we all are people with resentment. We all are, how do you say, resentable people? Something like that. And why is that? Because re means to go back to, or to do it again, and sentiment comes from feeling in Latin. Okay, feeling. So this simply means to feel again, and we all are resentful. Thank you. We are all resentful because we all used to feel the same things like in our whole life. We repeat constantly the same feelings once and again. We go back to our history and we bring all the same feelings to the present, and we live our lives today through the feelings that we have felt past. So that's resentment. So in English, you also have rancor. I don't know if you use it much, but rancor comes from the word rancid. Okay, that's the origin of the word. So something that smells like old, like something that it's so old that you can not. It's not good to smell. So basically, rancor, which is originated by the word rancid, is an old smell from something that is very old, that is rotten, and that now you start to feel it again, like when you feel it and it's feel nauseous, or you don't want to feel it and it makes you feel uncomfortable. That would be rancor, resentment. So first of all, let's go to the biology, because this will help us to understand from where is coming this perception of smell, so we could work later with the emotional. So the main thing to remember, and I will repeat this constantly, is that the body is built to survive. So the body is built to protect everything inside, so it could live as long as possible. Okay, we have to remember this all the time. And because of this, the body is taking all the information as much as it can from the whole environment, so it can't later repeat the codes to survive. So it doesn't have to learn each time different things. It just acquires information, and that's it. Then everything will be similar to the first things that the body absorbed. Like, for example, we have explained that if you touch the fire for the first time in your life, you will get burned, and suddenly you will like, oh, it burned me, so it's bad. So all your life, your body will react to fire because of that first feeling that you got. So your body is saving energy by the experiences that you have. So it says, okay, I see fire, so remember, it burn. Is basically what the body is doing. So we can relate this we can relate this to the first 7 years of our life. The first 7 years of our life, the first septennium, is the most important, in which everyone can learn a lot of things. We humans are sponges, bringing as much as information as we can from all around, because we are learning how to survive in this environment. That's why we used to say that that kids learn faster, is because the whole body, not just the mind, is trying to absorb information. But after the 7 years old, we start to repeat the codes. Like anything that could happen after our 7 years old will be compared with something that happened before I was 7 years old. And that's how we create this storage of information, of data. This is why during the next decades of our life, everything that happens to us will be related to what happened to us in the first 7 years of our life. This is why it's so important, these 7 years. So after our 7 years old, of course, we will live different things, good and bad things. And all of them will be stored inside of our body as a new data. But once it's stored, it will be the base to all the other information that are similar to that. Okay? So all this information that we store for our survival is registered in the hypothalamus. And from the hypothalamus, in the center of the brain, the reptilian brain, are born also the two main important glands, which are the hypophysis and the pineal gland. The hypophysis and the pineal are the ones that regulate, control the whole endocrine system. So basically the whole body. This brain is this here, the one in the core, is the one that registers everything. So this means that the whole system needs a lot of good cells absorbing information from the outside, because the way in which you storage information is from the outside to the inside. So you need to bring that information inside. That's why through thousands of years of evolution, we started to create the cells that will store that information. So these billions of years of evolution created these cells that will store information to the main core through the hearing, the sight, smelling, and taste. And of course, by the skin, we have the fifth, which is the touch. So basically, the head has these 5 senses, so it could bring as much as information to the inner brain. In mammals, the most evolved senses is the smell. And for us, for humans, we used to say that smell is the way in which you can contact with the spirit and the soul, because the soul is the air you breathe, and breathing, spirare in Latin, is spiritus, the spirit, because it's straight related to the pineal gland. So one important thing to understand why for mammals is so important the smell is a historical fact that we have to go to the very origin of mammals in our planet, when the dinosaurs were ruling the world. We have to remember that the dinosaurs, big reptiles, not all of them, but most of them, they were like reptiles, so they needed the light of the sun to keep themselves warm. Snakes, like the lizards, so they were all during the day. During the night, they had to stay calm because they hadn't hot blood. How do you say it? Warm. They weren't warm. And the only one warm with hot blood, I don't know how to say in English, are the tiny mammals. Okay, so that's why we, the tiny mammals around the planet, used to go around through by night, okay, to eat some beetles or some insects around. Okay, so because they had warm blood, so this, because of this warm blood, they were able to live during the night. But during the night, they were living in the caves during the whole day. And when they went out, they only had to look for insects. So they were not looking with the eyes. They were not in the need to see beyond in the horizon. They were just looking in the night for insects. So that's why they needed to smell a lot. They needed to develop the smell in order to find the food. Okay, so that's why all the mammals at the first stage develop the smell the most. Okay, so during thousands of years, we developed so much the smell that it became more an intuition than a fact. So by intuition, you can smell situations that could happen during the night. So all the things that you don't see, you can smell them. So our brain evolved so we could interpret things even if they hadn't happened yet. This has evolved in a way that even today we use this concept of this smells bad or this smells really good as sentences that are speaking about situations and not about things. So what is intuition? Intuition is not a sixth sense. Intuition basically is the development, the great development of one of our senses. So now remember when you were these little mouses, these little mammals going in the night, you were so fragile that you needed to survive. So you needed to know exactly what are the dangers that you have outside. So what you have to do is to pay attention to the smells of your enemies, of the smells of the beings that can kill you, of the smell of those things that can poison you. So now you start to understand that these little mammals started to register so many informations in order to survive. Okay? And this is the moment when we understand that for our brain, for our anatomy, is so important to discern what smells bad. Because what smells bad can't hurt me. And this is what we call rancor, resentment. So what is resentment? To go back to the past to see what are all those things that can hurt me. Someone that is resentful is someone that is constantly thinking in the past. Constantly thinking in the past. So to have rancor is that person that used the tools from the past of what that person felt in the past to protect itself from the things that are coming in the future. We have two different types of resentment, of rancor. One of them is the one that is evolutive. The evolutive one is the one that is preventive. It prevents me from all the situations that can happen that I smell can be bad. And there's the other rancor, the other resentment that says to me, everything that is coming will be like what happened to us before. So don't be open to anything. These are the two types. So what we have to do is to work with the evolutive rancor, which is to acknowledge all the things that happen to us, to acknowledge all the things that happen to us, so we could pre-visualize all the things that can happen in the future. So I can take note of that and to prepare myself for that. What we have tried to solve, to set ourselves free from, is from the rancor, the resentment that keeps us constantly in the past, not allowing us to move forward, to evolve. So we have to be very careful with the smell. Usually we have heard that women are much more resentful than men. Today people say this like how do you say it? Say this like this despective way, but what it really is a tool for evolution. So in order to understand why the women are much more resentful, we have to go back again to the little rats in billions of years ago. This would be like this: male go out and they hunt, they eat, but they try to survive themselves. Okay, it just tries to survive them by itself. But the female does exactly the same. There's a moment when the female has babies, and babies for the female body is not a different being, it's an extension of its own body. Okay, that's how the feminine body feels it. It's an extension of the same body. So the feminine, the female, evolves to feel its own body away. It evolves to smell its kids as if it is its own body. It smells the conflicts, it smells the dangers for the babies and for herself. Okay, so it is able to perceive and to have more intuition because it evolves with much more perception, because its own divides much more. So through thousands of years, that's why women have a lot of much more tools to evolve, too much more tools to be perceptive, to feel the other one, to have more intuition, and of course much more data, so much more rancor. One of the things that I want to clarify is that there's nothing in nature that is bad. In nature, everything that has survived through thousands and billions of years is because it was useful. If it is useless for nature, it gets rid of it, and that's it. Nature doesn't have this thing of, oh, but I want to keep this. No. If it's not useful, go away. So if it arrived until our time, it's because for nature might be useful. I would say that morality has fucked biology, basically. There's no other way to say it. Because we with the spiritual and philosophical aspects, we would say we have to get rid of rancor, we have to get rid of sadness or ego, and so many things we have to get rid of, but they are there in our body. It's because they are useful for something. So it's not about how to get rid of it, it's about how can I learn to use it properly. That's our main goal, how to use it properly. That's the most important thing, okay? So we don't have to get rid of anything. That's why we are talking good about rancor, resentment, because we have to understand from where it comes from and how to use it. And so this, let's go to the information for today. I will use an example from my own life. For example, I would say, for example, my dad didn't recognize me when I was born. So he said, "I'm not your father. I'm not the father. So go away." So imagine that today, with 33 years old, I would still be mad at him, with this resentment, okay, why did you abandon me? Why you didn't recognize me, for example. That's an example of rancor, of resentment in the bad way, because it's been a long time and I am still feeling that, okay? So the resentment or rancor used in an evolution, in the way of evolution, would be acknowledge that situation of abandon of my dad, and now understand that I lived throughout my life different moments of abandon from parts of my friends or other people. I felt abandoned in my life. So when you see the pattern repeating, you say, oh, it's not that people is abandoning me, it's that I am abandoning myself. So when you recognize that, you start to work with, okay, I have to, in the moments when I am going to feel abandoned, now I know that it's me who shouldn't be abandoned by myself, okay? So when I recognize that, I also come back to my dad and I recognize that I should not abandon him and that I should not abandon the other ones that I love, okay? But I never forget, because if I forget the concept of me being abandoned, I won't be able to use it in a proper way in the future situations. That would be. The vibration for today is Va. The statement for today is, I am the consciousness transmutation. The code for today is the 6th dimension. The mastership projected in its polarity creates the 6th dimensional point, forming an octahedron. that represents the seed of the tree of life. This way, the sixth dimension incorporates the creative capacity, where acknowledges the potential of the seed and programs it to be the best possible tree. Here's where the architects of reality express the manifesting of the worlds and life. We sit comfortable, we start to move our shoulders in circles. Until I let all the weight fall down, focusing in my breathing. Take a deep breath and become aware of the light around me. Take a deep breath, and with your eyes closed, picture around you all the people that you know in your life, the closest ones close to you, and all the rest away, distributed all around in different distances. The ones that make you bad, the ones that make you good. I take a look around me, perceiving all the people being surrounded by this same light that I feel. The light that emerges from me. I observe the light reflected on them, shining. And I picture each one of these people as waves, moving softly, shining in the ocean of my mind, of my soul. Take a deep breath and dive within the waters, going deeper and deeper to the darkest part of the ocean, to the subconscious. I watch above the lights, the clarity fading away as I get deeper and deeper in the shadows. I feel the pressure of the conscious over the unconscious and all the weight of the unconscious pushing the subconscious. and the entire subconscious, pushing all its pressure on me. I become aware that all this weight that I am feeling is due to the rancor, to the resentment that is pressing all its weight on my shoulders. I take a moment to perceive and feel the closest ones. What are my rancors? What are my resentments? And I manifest my intention. I desire to set myself free from rancor and resentment and use it properly as a tool. So I start to vibrate, so I can bring my intention to transmute the resentment throughout all my consciousness, in all its levels. As I pronounce the sound, I feel my voices projected in the waves of the ocean. I am consciousness transmutation. I am the transmutation of consciousness. I am the consciousness transmutation. Take a deep breath. Take your hands to your heart. Becoming aware of this power, I bring all this consciousness throughout my body by caressing, touching, and setting myself free from all the weight of the deepest part of the ocean. and soft, each one at its own time. Come back here and now, opening your eyes. Today, pay attention to your dreams and allow your subconscious to show you your resentments and how to heal them. Thank you for being there, and as always, see you tomorrow at the same time. Bye.